I'm Susan. Welcome to Tea and Games. This is going to be a short, fast video because I'm sorry I'm running a little late getting it out this week, but we've got a sick dog. So this is going to be a little bit abbreviated. But, had to tell you, we did play Starfinder last Saturday. Our first RPG. And if you want to know why I haven't played an RPG before now, you should watch the beginning of the previous video. I will go back to the Summer Games video next week. But for now, Starfinder, yeah. We played and we signed up on the game store's page for the event on Facebook. Even though I'm not really on Facebook anymore, I still get notifications for them, so I still know things that are going on certain places. But the official sign up was on Warhorn, but I don't have a Warhorn account. So that was a little bit problematic, but you see, this was an introductory session for beginners. It was a Starfinder scenario called the Commencement, which is specifically for beginners getting into the game. So, I mean, I didn't know if I was going to like this, so, you know, I'm just not going to get, like, accounts for event scheduling for RPGs if I don't know if I want to continue playing RPGs. So I kind of needed to do it before I could decide whether or not I wanted to do it. So anyhow, what this meant was the store was packed. Well, first of all, a board game group was meeting there Saturday as well. And we had one of the little rooms, but the max number of players, there's some sort of a limit of 6 for players and then the GM, Game Master. And we ended up with more than that because there were the people that signed up on the store's sign up. And then there were the people that was apparently the regular RPG group of several people that sign up over on the Warhorn site. And it does appear to be a regular group. From something somebody had said in a Discord channel, I gathered that it was essentially a random gathering and you never knew who was going to show up, just random people whenever they ran a scenario every month, and that it could be like a totally different group each time. But after, and I did join Warhorn because we did like Starfinder, so we both joined so we can schedule things. But we ended up with more players there Saturday, and so so that gave us a schedule an issue because he was going to get 2 GMs, but he was only going off of the listing on the Warhorn site. He apparently did not even look at the store's sign-up page for the introductory session to Starfinder. So he told the second GM he didn't need him, so we ended up with like way too many people for the maximum of 6 people. So because there were 2 new people, the original GM took the 2 of us, me and Robert, and 1 other guy, and then the regular group, one of them GM'd their session at another table. And I did look at some of the past events on the Warhorn site, and despite that whole, oh, it's a different bunch of people every time, it does appear that it is, there's like maybe, there's like 5 regular people who are there every month, and then there's like 1 slot that may be a different person, maybe. So, so that's going to be a little bit tricky, perhaps going forward in the future, because we really enjoyed it a lot. We had a lot of fun, and we got fairly well oriented with the game system. So it could be a little bit tricky going forward because the GM is either going to have to find a second GM so that 2 tables can run, because the table that was over there, they also got another person from the store sign up that turned up. So, and we ran with 3 players and 1 pre-generated player, which is one of, like, I think the core rulebooks players, because our party was sort of unbalanced. It's not what you would ideally want, I would think, for general purposes, but we ended up with 2 mechanics, that's Robert and I, though we specialized in different things, so we had different stats. And we we had an envoy, and we didn't have a Vesk, so our pre-generated character that the envoy also played was the Vesk soldier, so that on those occasions where we found ourselves in rather dangerous situation, we did have like a Vesk that was between us and, they're like burly lizard people, that was between us and danger. Although I also ran a drone that managed to see a tiny bit of combat. It thwacked things with a tactical baton. So anyhow, it worked out really well because there are 4 scenarios in the commencement. We go around the Absalom station and we meet the leaders of 4 different Starfinder factions, and they send us on little small missions to do tasks for them. So we investigated a data hacking case, and having 2 people that specialized in mechanics and computer skills and 1 person that was a good talker, the envoy. We handled that really smoothly. And we had what we call the pod race, because we had a mechanic. We were helping out a racer. We were helping out a racer race their vehicle, and Robert actually ended up being the one of our team that raced the vehicle for her, and he won. Actually, we won by a mile, having one envoy who was basically going through all of the competitors, talking to them, and also talking to our main opponent there. We got like a huge edge from that because of the things that he negotiated ahead of the race. And the weapons the pod racers have weapons on them. We call them pod racers. They were just like little minis, and they didn't look like pod racers, but it was kind of, they were junk. They were like cobbled together from junk. So they did have that in common with pod racers. But and the 2 mechanics, Robert and I, we worked on doing everything that we possibly could. We just worked down the list of improvements to our racer. So we like won that by a mile. And we had to clear a warehouse of a noxious creature, bad creature. And we had to check out an electrical problem on a spaceship in dock, a flagship actually, in dock, who was having electrical issues that may or may not have been caused by a creature. I can't really say. So anyhow, keeping that secret, no spoilers. But we did all of the tasks successfully, and it was a lot of fun, and we definitely want to play Starfinder again, though scheduling could be a problem. Finding low-level games, and it's going to take a while to level up. We got 1 experience point from all of the different stuff that we did. But that is the way organized play gives out points. And organized play, this is Starfinder Society scenarios and organized play in which you play characters that you can build and take anywhere with you, meaning that you could play the same character anywhere. And I mean, I kind of feel like you could play the same character anywhere without having this online registration and number and all of this other kind of stuff. But apparently organized play is like very organized. So it's like we're all official now. More official actually than we thought we would be or particularly wanted to be. But the people we met were really friendly, including the group that split off and played at the other table, and they helped us out with our characters a little bit, tweaking a few things, and there's a few more things I need to tweak. And that's one of the things that's also possibly an organized play thing. I don't know if it's a general Starfinder thing, but you can make any changes that you want to your character as long as you're still level 1. Until you level up. And I think it's like 3 scenarios to level up. So depending upon how difficult or easy it is for us to get games, it could take us a very long time to level up. So I will continue to work on improving my character based upon suggestions that I got both before and after the game. That was a huge amount of fun. After we played, I picked up the core rule book, And yes, I have the digital copy that I got from Humble Bundle in the last offering that they did. I got a ton of digital stuff. But finding stuff in the digital PDF, the PDF file, using that in terms of practical use, it doesn't work very well. I mean, the core rulebook is over 500 pages, the PDF was. I haven't actually looked at this. This is, what is this? This is the pocket edition, by the way. There's a bigger version. And I'm still not in numbered pages. Yeah, this is also over 500. So yeah, even though it's small print for the core rule book, it is also very, very long. And the PDF is not formatted in a way that you can go chapter to chapter to chapter, and you can't bookmark stuff, and you can't highlight stuff. So I mean, you can read it, but in terms of the way people practically use a 500-page rule book, the digital version is no use at all. I would strongly suggest getting one of the Humble Bundle digital versions when they do a Starfinder Society thing. Again, if you are interested in Starfinder and just want to find out about it, because they have a ton of basic materials when they do these things. They do like the beginner's box digitized, and the core rule book and all of the alien archives, and some of the story things. If you want to get some idea how the stories go, the reading the stories is really for the GMs, but this is the pocket version of the core rule book, and it is not tiny. I mean, you would need a good size pocket to put this into it. I got my official paper here at the end of it. I mentioned I only got one experience point, but I did get over 500 credits. So I think if I can get another scenario in, though I won't have leveled up, I might have enough money to buy a better weapon. I need like one better weapon, but everything else I think is pretty much okay. And then on Saturday we played, and after we played we got the core rule book, which I'm patting on here, and I realized it's out of the frame already. And then Sunday we went back to the local game store and picked up the beginner's box. And the reason why is because, I mean, we don't absolutely have to have it. We've actually gotten that leg up and started to begin. But the beginner's box is basically made so that you can buy this and you and your friends can sit down and start playing right away. It's got everything you need. It's got a solo adventure you don't need a GM or even to know the rules for, that will kind of walk you through stuff. And then it's got another adventure in the Game Master's book that you can play with people. It comes with a set of dice, and it also comes with a ton of pawns. Now, the digital version had pawns too, but all that meant is that it was like a PDF that had all of the pictures of all of the pawns. And the GM brought minis that we used to play. I brought my Captain is Dead minis, a couple of those for us to use in case the GM didn't have like minis, but I brought like the little pawn things for the Captain is Dead, which we ended up not using, which was good because I was afraid it would sort of jinx it, considering that that's the only co-op game we've never won. But yeah, there are and it comes with stands, and I might add that not all of the pawn collections, from things I've seen and read, not all of the pawn collections for Starfinder come with the bases that you need to put the little minis on. But they're very sturdy, and they have some large bases for large creatures. And there we go. I think there may also be starship minis that you can put on the large bases, and bag of dice. Robert's going to use this dice the next time because he used this kind of gold on gray, which was which was hard to read because you couldn't tell the 9s from the 6s on some of them. They just had, like on this one, you just have a dot to tell you. Or maybe, well, that wasn't the D20 though, was it? But yeah, you just have a tiny little dot there. But he's going to probably use the black ones because that was hard to read. That's just like a cheap pair of dice that I got with something else. This is the dice set that I used on Saturday. Shiny, huh? Which I got at our friendly local game store oh gosh, probably a year or so ago, or over a year ago. Um, and I bought them because they were just so very, very pretty. And I didn't know if I would ever use them per se. But yeah, I did that. It's also, the beginner's box has also got like character sheets, and it does not have a GM screen, but I think it's pretty much got everything else. But we had a great time playing this, going on adventures. Absalom Station, which was the primary setting for this first adventure, reminded me a bit of Babylon 5, but it also kind of reminded me of other sci-fi space station settings. But there's still some things that I'm learning and that I need to get better at. And I didn't role play as much as I thought I would, because I was thinking too much. I wasn't yet comfortable enough with it to just go into it role playing, because a lot of what I was doing was just trying to think, okay, what do I do next? And if this, then this, and what do I do now? And okay, and then I roll for this, but should I do that? It was just like, I was just kind of mentally thinking all the time, like thinking, what do I do? What do I do? And should I do this? And what do we do now? And I was thinking like too much maybe about the scenario and not really getting into character. But I should get better at that, assuming that I have the chance that we can get games locally, because we do want to continue pursuing this. Robert had a good time too. He was a little bit more hesitant about doing this than I was, but yeah, he got into it, and he actually, at the very beginning of it, he actually did a little bit of in-character stuff, and it was a lot of fun. It really, really was, and we both had a huge amount of fun. And another thing I was going to say about this beginner's box, having the beginner's box gives us something that we can show people. I mean, playing Starfinder at our local game store, it's an experiential thing. You know, I mean, it's not like I can say, we played Starfinder and this is it, because it was an experience. It was a story that the game master brought to the table. And the game master also provided the minis that we used. And the game master screen. And so, I mean, if I wanted to tell somebody about Starfinder and have them look at it and see what it is and what it's about, hand them my phone and show them the digital files? That just doesn't seem that appealing. But with this, there is a hero's handbook which gives the basic rules and helps you walk through character setup. It has a Grandmaster book, which is kind of aimed towards starting someone off as Game Master book, which helps starting somebody off as a Game Master, and the story that's in that. It has the pawns, and it has the character sheets and all of this kind of stuff. So if we wanted to put together our own game group, of course, there's still the problem of getting a GM, which is like the perennial problem. But if we wanted to show someone what Starfinder was all about, we could just like put this box on the table, open it up, and they could go through this box and get a really good idea of what Starfinder is all about. They could see the wonderful artwork and read about how it's played, and we could answer questions assuming that we knew the answers, because we are maybe not quite to that point of knowing the answers. But yeah, we're going to, the next game at our local game store next month is, it's for players at a higher level than we are, because we're still first level. It's for fourth level players, and it's already full because the regular group is playing. So we're going to try to get another game locally. We may have to go a little ways to get it. We've signed up for something, but we're going to have to, it's about a half an hour away, but it's the next one in the series of scenarios. So we'll maybe get another scenario under our belt. So we're registered on Warhorn, and we put our little or a little sign up in there for that session. But I mean, that particular location is probably not one we're going to go to very often because it is a ways away. So the drive there and back, I think, would be, I don't know, maybe just a little tiresome to do on a regular basis. You know, okay for every now and then. But I mean, our local game store is so close to us that I want to play with local people at our local game store. And I don't know how possible that's going to be, but we shall see. It's not going to be possible next month, though. At least not unless the current GM gets somebody else to GM a second table, like we did this last time. Though that was very much an impromptu, hurried up affair, and they divvied up the resources, and it was kind of interesting. But boy, they got it all together on the fly. And our GM was a really great guy, very good at storytelling, and we just had a really, really good time. And I will eventually give you an update on how things are going with the hunt for a regular local Starfinder group. But I think next week I may go back to summer games. There was a challenge on the Watch It Play thing, which I'm thinking about doing as well. So I may do a video for that. Of course, all depends upon the dog getting better so that I can film. But it's been fun sitting around the table talking to you. It's been hurried because I got a sick dog. So this is like, I got to do this fast. And it's going to be very, very, almost no editing at all. So I'll see you next time around the table.